Charlotte Motor Speedway is America's home for racing, which makes it the perfect place to begin an all-American season of GT3 racing. We've got cars from across the world, tracks from across the country, and we are set to go racing for a 6-race season. It's shorter than we've done previously in the North American Racing League, but it's going to be one of the biggest ever. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. Glad to have you here for Media Day coverage on this November 30th evening. We've got 60 minutes of qualifying. A bunch of it has already elapsed. I think it might have actually been set to be 50 minutes. Regardless, we've got a lot of qualifying on hand and a 15-minute sprint race coming up for you guys to enjoy as we get warmed back up to our favorite names of the North American Racing League. We are here, of course, at the virtual Charlotte, ready to get cars. Well, we've got cars on track. Let's say ready to get cars on track. We've got them on track. Let's get into the sim and take a look, of course, at this beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. I've been here many a time. I really do appreciate it. This wasn't even planned. Scott Reister, thanks so much for this track choice. This is such a cool place to go to and take a look at, especially with these brand new GT3 cars. We're going to take a look at some old, some new, especially a lot of new cars on this racetrack this evening. And I think for this upcoming season, a lot of Ferraris and Porsches. But you take a look here at the track map for Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, turn number 1 used to be Tom's Heartburn turn, now DeWalt Too Tough to turn 1. Then you go through the Bojangles drive-through at turns 2 and 3 into the Hammerhead, around turns 3 and 4. And I'm kind of breezing through this, but there's so much elevation change in those few corners alone. You go from the NASCAR quad oval right across pit lane, perpendicular across NASCAR pit lane into the infield, up a bit of a hill, some banking there in turn number 2, down into what feels like a carousel or the Hammerhead at turns 3 and 4. Then it's a flat back straightaway into turn number 5. You turn up as soon as you pass the apex of turn 5 into the redneck roller coaster. You're at the highest in turn number 6. You drop down into turn number 7, raise back up into turn number 8, and then you're back onto the NASCAR oval, ripping through the gears. Turns 9 and 10, NASCAR 1 and 2, down the backstretch into the backstretch chicane at turns 11 and 12. Then things get a lot more simple, or you might think. It's actually one of the hardest braking zones you'll find in America, I think, into turn 15. Once you go through turns 13 and 14, NASCAR 3 and 4, you end up in that oh-so-shaky braking zone of turn 15 into the front stretch chicane here on the Roval. It has bitten many a driver. In fact, it reached out and grabbed NASCAR 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson in the inaugural running of the NASCAR Cup Series here at the Roval, and grabbed him, made a mistake. There we go. Into Martin Truex Jr. handing the win over to Ryan Blaney. There's a lot here at this racetrack, and we're going to see 15 minutes of racing here in about another half hour. But for now, we've got cars on track for qualifying. Before we get to those guys, let's take a look at the schedule for this season. I think there's a lot of hype around some of the tracks that are dotting this schedule. Specifically, I would say Willow Springs as the finale as far as traditional sprint races. Then we're going to Road America for an endurance race of 2 hours. But you take a look here, Road Atlanta, Detroit, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Willow Springs on the Big Willow circuit, of course, and then Road America for that finale. The only round not counting for points is today here at Media Day. Otherwise, Road Atlanta, Detroit, all the way through Road America, those are all points-paying events. In fact, Road America would be race number 6, but we've got it here labeled as endurance, as it is the endurance round of the season. And as far as freshening up the series structure, I really like what NARL has done here. I really like what Scott Reister went for. I think this is a really big improvement upon just going 8 races for 60 minutes apiece or 50 minutes apiece, whatever it was. This is a really, really nice twist, adding in that endurance race, and maybe down the road, that endurance race moves around to different slots in the schedule just for a little bit of fun, but we'll see how this goes. I really like this format regardless. It's going to provide, I think, a lot of fun on some late nights on Thursdays throughout the course of the winter of 2023 and into 2024. Enough about all the pomp and circumstance. We've got cars on the racetrack. Let's take a look. We've got some really, really cool Ferrari 296s on track, and they are leading the way already. Scott Kimbrough, fastest in this practice session, or qualifying session rather. Got to get that in my head. Qualifying session. followed closely by Scott Reister, who's through the backstretch of Kane currently. And look at these new on-screen graphics, or well, on-car graphics, I should say, thanks to John Sedlak and Victorum. Really cool look across the field. Love these number plates, love everything these new decal packs have to offer. Another few cars throughout the field. How about Milan Harris in his black and white Rockefeller Racing Ferrari? Blake Scott out there in the highest non-Ferrari in the field currently. That's a BMW. John Kroom checks in from the 5th position currently in a Ferrari. Not used to saying this many Ferraris. The Ferrari had really just dropped off in terms of car usage in recent years, but of course this 296 has it right back in the forefront of everybody's minds. There we go though, our first Porsche of the field. 8th position in qualifying, Jason Allen out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Sim City Racing. They just had Formula One there. Isn't that crazy to think about? Aubrey Kundle also driving a Porsche, car 53. Love that look. Luann Hott completes our top 10 currently, driving a Ferrari. So we're going to see a lot of Ferraris. I think a good, healthy mix of Porsches throughout the field. Here is a Mercedes, Adam Brockway. Good on this man. Driving a Mercedes this evening here at Charlotte. Lucas Souza in a Porsche, Andy Ray Miller in a Ferrari, Ilya Speaker, Ferrari, Ricardo Delgado in a Ferrari. We've been down this road before. Remember, it used to be Audi, seasons ago, even Porsche. Now we've got Ferrari. It is the car of choice. It's so well balanced. I really do enjoy this race car, and I've only driven it a little bit, but from what I have driven, it's a very, very fun race car. Jake Luther out here in a Porsche, 18th fast so far. Mike Braun in a Ferrari. And what I've completely glossed over until now, and I've just realized, is we've got some new class structure here. So they are no longer Pro, Pro-Am, Pro. It is just 2 classes, 1 race a night. We've got Division 1, Division 2. Essentially, it is still Pro and Am, but they are now just Division 1, Division 2, based on iRating. I think it clears up some of the kind of Pro or Pro-Am, all that. I think it makes it a lot more simple. We've got some new color refreshes as well, thanks to John Sedlak and JS Consulting and Victorum. 47 cars on track. Weather conditions, in case maybe you couldn't make it this evening, you want to kind of index yourself versus how these guys are running. 74.6 degrees in the air, 78 on track, clear skies, and I believe we are around, based on the shadows, I would say early afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock, something like that. I've spent enough time here at this track. I know where the shadows should be, roughly. I'm not exactly sure what time it is in Sim, but it's probably around that. Will Coffey's on track. Good to see him back in the field in a Ferrari. And what this broadcast is going to basically do for us is give us a little dress rehearsal. We've got a few more additions to the broadcast that are not yet in this show. But we will have for round number 1 when we head out to, Road Atlanta. So there's still a few things to be added. This isn't exactly what you'll see. John Sedlak, gotta get decals on that car, my good man. But this isn't, again, a nice little dress rehearsal to see kind of what we've got coming for this season of NARL Racing. We also have a lot of drivers to talk to. And we're going to be seeing a decent variety of drivers, I think, pop in and talk to us. First up, we've got... we're actually going to have Love 46 straight out the gate, so we'll grab Love and speak with her. She's a little ways down the order in qualifying now, but Love 46, good to have you back for another season of NARL Racing. Good to have you, of course, in the same lovely colorful paint scheme you've sported over the last few seasons. But you're running a car that's about to be out of service here in a week. How about the new Audi that's on the way?
I'm so excited about new Audi, so decided to go this media race with this car because of that. And yeah, we'll see how I can perform with Audi, and this race is going to be chaos and fun.
Yeah, of course, Media Day, just kind of warming everybody back up. It's been a while since we've been racing with North American Racing League, but it's got to feel good. Of course, you keep active on iRacing throughout the course of the year, but it's got to feel good to get back on track with this group in particular. Really one of the best organized road leagues on iRacing.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, we've got a lot of Ferraris out there, even a handful of Porsches that seem to be dominating. Do you feel like maybe that Audi Evo might have the leg up once it drops going into this new season of racing? I think Love might be talking to the stream there. Love 46 is still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Gotcha.
Here.
So just wondering, of course, we see a bunch of the new Ferrari that just released over the summer. Do you feel like the Audi Evo, when it gets released here in about a week, is going to have a leg up? Of course, you're in it this evening. You talk about wanting to go fast with the Audi. Do you feel like it's going to be the car to beat upcoming in the winter?
Well, I think that if you're talking about new Audi, I think it's going to be competitive, and still the old Audi on some tracks competitive as well. So we'll see how good I can do with this car. Decided to go with it as unfortunately I still don't have some liveries on my Porsche and Ferrari, so decided to go with Audi. That's another one reason why I choose this car.
And hey, how about the schedule this season? A big variety of racetracks. We're going to Road Atlanta to kick things off, then the street course of Detroit, and we're going even to Willow Springs in round 5 before the endurance race at Road America. Is there any one track that you have highlighted as your best opportunity to go and try and get a win?
I think that Road Atlanta will be the best for me, as this is my favorite track. This is a track which I'm driving the most on the service. So yeah, really looking forward for this one.
Well, it's good to talk to you, and good to see you back in the North American Racing League. Best of luck this season. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more.
Yeah, thank you so much.
46 this evening, of course, in car 46. Good to talk to her. It's been a while, if ever. I think we've talked to her once before in a streamer championship race. That should definitely make a comeback. But let's float around the field a little bit. We got a lot of drivers ready to talk to us. One of them is going to be Thomas Rayleigh, and he made a lot of noise, a lot of ripples in the league back when we ran Porsche Cup cars most recently. And Thomas, it is good to see everybody back, especially good to see you back in car number 420. It looks like, actually, I'm looking for car 420. Are you in the session yet? He's got his mic muted. He might not be at his PC just yet. We'll let him have a moment to sort that out, but we can also go down to, let's grab Eric Leroy. He is 7th place, a car 44, brand new, at least to my eyes. Eric, you got some speed out there in that bright yellow Ferrari. How's the car feel? How's the track feel?
Hey man, thanks. Feels good. It's just hard to put a complete lap together here. I'm having good sectors, and then I butcher the rest of the lap. You know how it goes. But yeah, first time in NARL and really excited about it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good to have all these new names. 48 cars in this Media Day session at Charlotte. Of course, we're not racing anything even close to Charlotte in terms of chaos level, I guess, chaos factor. But how does it feel to get, I guess, shoulder to shoulder with everybody out on the racetrack and warm up for the season?
It feels great. I mean, this track in particular, with all these GT3 cars out at the same time, yeah, it's chaotic, man, but I'm actually impressed. Everyone's keeping it together for the most part. I hope I continue to do that, especially in the race. But it feels really good to get a practice in and race next to these guys. There's some really, really good competition out here, so it's nice to see where I stack up and where I'm losing time and where I can improve.
And Eric, I asked Love 46 a pretty big question at the end of my conversation with her. I think that's going to be the question of the day. Is there a track on this schedule from Road Atlanta, Detroit, I believe Watkins Glen, Daytona, Willow Springs, and Road America? Is there a track that you have circled as your best opportunity to go try and get a win?
It's high between Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen.
Now, why specifically those two tracks? Because they are wildly different.
Yeah, Watkins Glen for whatever. So growing up, I played the NASCAR video games like religiously, and I loved driving that track in a Cup Series car. So I've been driving that track since PS1 was a thing, and I don't know, I just like it. I like the way it feels. I like everything about it. Road Atlanta, I actually do not like, but I recently had a coaching session with Daniel Morad there, and he helped me a lot. So I think my time got better there, and I'm starting to feel more comfortable with it.
And tonight you're here on the Ferrari 296, of course, brand new to the sim. We've got another brand new car coming in the Audi Evo. Do you have your eyes set on that brand new Audi?
It looks very pretty. I definitely will try it out. I have to say, the Ferraris, every time there's a new GT3 car that comes out, I try it, and I always end up going back to the Ferrari, so maybe this one will change my mind.
Well, buddy, best of luck to you. Nice to see you in the league for the first time. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more this season.
Thanks, man.
Eric Leroy, car number 44, out of New York, and that makes sense as to why he is all about Watkins Glen. Moving throughout the field, I actually got a lot of new names that are in the broadcast waiting room, but we do have one familiar name, and that is going to be the other female that I know of, at least, that is in this league. How about Stacy Bertrand in car number 88, position number 31 currently in qualifying. Stacy, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Well, it looks like you're not on track right now. Is there anything you guys are looking for as far as weather trends, maybe in this the session, or track temp, anything like that, as to why maybe you're on track sometimes, not on track, maybe even car count on the racetrack all at once?
No, I'm just waiting for rain.
Might be waiting a long time in North Carolina. We're in a bit of a drought, but good to have you back, of course, for a new season of racing. Good to see all these familiar names once again. It's been all too long. How do you feel about GT3 cars? Of course, the big switch from Porsche Cup back to GT3 with some new cars in the fold. The new Porsche that you're in this evening, the new Ferrari that's been out, and the new Audi on the way within a couple of weeks. Do you feel like those cars will dominate as we usually see with brand new cars to the sim?
I think it's going to be more of a find out what car works best for you on a particular track kind of scenario, because it seems like there is a stronger car out here than some of the others to get fast and quicker. And I think that'll be the real key, is if you can not only just pick the car that you like, but try the other cars out and see which one of those GT3 cars that may be better suited for a particular track because of gear ratio or something like that, or the way they handle where the engine is located, or its top speed. So there's a lot of different factors that would play into, what is the best car for going into the season. So we can jump around. So that's going to be pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, that freedom of choice is going to be a big thing, I think, for a lot of drivers and teams. And, of course, when you're talking about teams in North American Racing League, you have to talk about Rockefeller Racing. You guys are set up for another big season, and on the topic of teams, we've got a team race. We've got our first points-paying team race at Road America to crown off this championship. That has to be a highlight for you guys, considering the team element over there and how much you've dominated in recent seasons.
Oh yeah, we try hard to get to the top of every single race, and we bring a lot of bullets with us, as it were. The Rockefeller Racing team is pretty strong, and our leader finally moved over to iRacing himself, the organizer of Rockefeller Racing, and it's gonna be cool to get him in the mix too, because I hear he's a pretty quick driver. So you're gonna see all the familiar faces from the team from the previous NARL events, and maybe one more coming up soon. So get ready, everybody. Rockefeller Racing is gonna be hitting it hard.
I think the question of the day so far, which track of this schedule do you have highlighted, do you have circled as your best opportunity to go to victory lane?
You know what I like? I like Road America. I like the endurance race thing that we got at the very end. I think that's we as NARL have to redeem ourselves from the last time we were there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, Stacey, good to talk to you, especially before this season gets going. Hopefully we're talking to you a couple more times this season at the very least, hopefully especially at Road America.
All right, thank you so much. You guys have a fun one, and thank you so much for what you do.
Absolutely appreciate Stacey Bertrand in the league as always, and we are amassing quite the lineup of league members in Discord waiting to talk to us. So let's go down the line of who I believe at least has been here the longest. Next up, Andy Miller. I'll find his car number first. And I guess I'll search through. I don't see Andy just yet. I know I saw him. There we go. Car number 3. Andy Miller, position 14. How could I miss him? Oh, must be. I wonder. It's a custom paint scheme. I wonder if he's teammates with Eric Leroy. Must be a nice little point for us to talk on. I'm sure if I referenced my spreadsheet, it would tell me. But Andy Miller, position number 14 in qualifying so far. How you doing?
Hey, doing great.
Well, you're a new name, at least from what I've seen in the North American Racing League. How does it feel to jump in with this big of a field on the Charlotte Roval, all in GT3 cars, also closely matched?
Oh man, it's pretty intimidating. You know, just trying to hold my own out here right now and trying to set a solid lap for the race, or the sprint race anyway.
Of course, no points on the line this evening, but still a good opportunity, especially once the race comes, to get out there and get shoulder to shoulder and see what the hype is all about. Is there a track, though, that you feel like is going to suit you and potentially, I'm assuming your teammate Eric Leroy, you guys have the same livery. Is there a track you feel like will suit you guys the best?
Yeah, me and Eric, we're on the team Maxwell Racing. I think Road Atlanta coming up is going to suit us well. It's not only a favorite track, but we've done a lot of laps there, and we've been doing some training with, at least Eric has, with Mr. Morad, so.
Well, sounds good. It's good to have you guys here. And how about that team element as far as the season finale, Road America? That'll be our first points-paying endurance race here in the league, which, I mean, doesn't mean a whole lot to guys that are new, but is that like a highlight for you guys, one that you have circled?
Yeah, we're just trying to, set a solid pace, come out our first time here. If we could run up front, that'd be great. Top 10 is solid for us, I think. Yeah, we're just going to see what we can do.
Of course, car selection has to be something on your mind. Of course, you guys are in the Ferrari, which seems to be the car of choice, maybe the fastest car in the group right now. Is there eyes set on the Audi once it drops here in a couple weeks?
Oh man, we've been talking about cars all the time, trying to decide on what will be the best. The Ferrari, we're just more comfortable with right now. The Porsche is absolutely strong, and a few of the others. But the Audi, yeah, I'm excited for it. Hope it sounds good.
Well, Andy, good to talk to you. We've got a lineup of people behind you. Best of luck. It looks like you're starting around 15th or higher. Best of luck here in the back end of qualifying. We'll look out for you in the sprint race.
Yep, thank you.
Andy Miller in division number 1. And we're going to try to go rapid fire with some more interviews here at the back end of qualifying. I see that Dan Willis has been here for a while waiting to talk to us from that Maradness squad. And Dan, good to have you back in the field. It's been a little bit since we've been racing with NARL, but how are things? I mean, we've seen a lot of you in past seasons. I think we're going to see a lot of you again here this season of GT3 Racing.
Yeah, hi, how you doing? It's great to be here again. We're really happy to see NARL back. We've always loved the competition here. It's really, really strong. You got to bring your A game if you want to be competitive. And yeah, there's 8 of us in, I believe. We got 4 in D1 and 4 in D2 for this season. So we're really excited to bring the Maradna squad to NARL for this season.
Definitely a nice squad there for you guys, which means you have to be excited for Road America. First points-paying endurance race. That's been a highlight of conversation so far. Do you feel like you guys are already pretty amped for it, prepared for it?
We are. The Maradna Sim squad is initially kind of rooted in endurance racing. So, like, going to an endurance event is like in our roots. You know, it's in our blood. So, very, very much looking forward to that. And Road America is one of the squad's stronger tracks. So I expect us to be pretty competitive there.
How about car selection, of course? This Mercedes is pretty partial to, I'm sure, Maradness as a whole, considering Daniel drives it. Is there maybe a car, though, that you have, I guess, set on? I don't know how to phrase this. A car maybe in your mind, in your eyes. I completely lost phrasing there for a moment, but of course, we have the Audi coming out soon. We see the field dominated by Ferraris right now. Some Porsches out there doing well for themselves. and you're over here in a Mercedes, which is still new to the service in terms of, car 170 versus car number 1, but is seeming like it's starting to fall behind a little bit.
I think where the AMG is falling behind in the sim is it takes a little while for the rear end to warm up. Like the tire model, the way it behaves with the rear end of this car, it takes a little while for it to come in, and because of that, like, you're down on pace compared to some of the other cars. Especially like here, the Porsche is really strong, like really puts the power down well, gets into the corners real well. So we got a bunch of M Squad members who are running the Porsche, this week. The Ferrari is, I don't want to say it's a meta, but it's definitely a strong car. It's a newer car. It's pretty well balanced. If you can manage your front end, the understeer that's inhibiting of the fixed setups, it's pretty strong as well. But I'm in a Mercedes because I like the car. After the tires come in, the car is very strong. It's got really good pace in the straightaways, and when you look at our season, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the Mercedes AMG GT3 to be pretty strong.
Well, I can't blame you, and I'm certainly not going to tell you not to drive one of the coolest looking cars on the sim. Dan, best of luck to you this season. Hopefully we'll talk to you a lot more.
Yeah, thanks. Hope to see you again.
Dan Willis, car number 127 in a Mercedes this evening, and maybe the rest of this season. And we don't usually get an opportunity to talk with our active provisional pole sitter, but we're going to have that opportunity this evening. Milan Harris, fastest qualifier thus far, is in the sim and is in the broadcast room. Milan, we don't usually talk to the provisional pole sitter, but right now you have the fastest time in this nearly hour-long qualifying session for a 15-minute sprint race. How's that feel?
It feels good. I love it. I'm all about purple lap. So give me a full hour to sit there and compete for that. It feels great.
All about purple laps, but you're top of Division 1, so you don't have to have a purple number. How about that? I mean, you are the top right now of the series, which I think has to be a bit of a win in and of itself. Even if the race doesn't go this way, to start things off with race number 0, if you will, just being on the top right now in qualifying has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels good because you kind of question where your pace is at going into this. So it feels good. I think, my main focus moving forward for this series is just going to be consistency. I've kind of in the past shown that I've got some fast laps and do some good work, but man, I just need to pull it together and be more consistent. I want to win a championship. That's what I want to do now. So.
We spoke with one of your teammates from Division, I think she's Division 2. Regardless, we spoke to Stacy just a little bit ago and talked a lot about track selection, car selection, all of that. How about you, specifically, Milan Harris? Is there a track that you have circled, let alone the team Rockefeller Racing? Is there a track that you have circled for your best opportunity to win this season?
I guess I'm going to play with home track on that and go with Road Atlanta. Just did a couple track day weekends there here the past month or so. So I think that's kind of my home track and probably my favorite track. Like this track in for Road Atlanta, I think the Ferrari's strong. It's got the power, but I just don't like the Ferrari. The handling characteristics, the understeer is just horrible, but right now it's got the power, and I kind of think it's the car for this track and probably Road Atlanta.
The new Audi, the R8 Evo, is going to be dropping just in time for Road Atlanta to kick this season off. Is there going to be a big push to see if it's ready, see if it's the car maybe to go with for Road Atlanta?
Oh, I'll definitely do some testing in it, and hopefully it is a good car. It looks great, so hey, gotta look good out there. That's number one, right?
Style points definitely add horsepower. Milan, good to talk to you this evening. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more. Best of luck to you and all of Rockefeller Racing.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. It's great to be back.
Good to talk to Milan before we get going this evening. A couple of others have been down there waiting to talk to us. One of those being John Sedlak from JS Consulting. John, it's been a while. Good to have you here, though. And that Porsche, you designed the decals. It doesn't have those decals. What's going on there?
A trading paints issue, I think. I had to reapply the decal pack and reload trading paints, and showing up for me, so we'll get it all figured out.
Of course, blame the program. But, John, it is good to have you, seriously. Coming back for another season, and I think in one of the largest roles you've ever had here with the series. Doing a lot behind the scenes. How's that been?
It's been fun. It's been fun developing Victorum for basically this league, although it's open to everybody. Looking at adding a couple new features this season, and yeah, the decals did not really care to do that so much. That was a huge pain in the butt. So hopefully we're one and done on that.
It is pretty cool to see that big green check mark alongside on the graphic for our partners of the series. Of course, we had that for Porsche Cup, but it's, I think, even more ingrained now in NARL culture here for this GT3 season. And there's a lot of new to talk about, of course, Victorum in a new, larger role, you in a new, larger role, but also some new cars around the field. You're in one of them, the new Porsche. How's it feel so far?
It feels like the old Porsche, just slightly better in every single way. So it feels like home for me, to be honest.
And of course, some new tracks, well, a new track on the schedule listing. Willow Springs, round 5, that's going to throw some kinks in things.
Yeah, I've never raced there. I don't even own the track yet, so for sure that's it's going to be a bit of a wild card, I think.
And some new logos around the car. Of course, still over at Firelight Racing. We talked a little bit about that with Firelight Esports and Light Stuff and everybody on board that machine last season. But I see a new logo on top of the roof, which seems to be a big deal over there.
Yeah, we got a coffee sponsor. It's pretty good. So yeah, I'm just trying to rep it by because I know Charlotte's a good track for overhead shots. So hopefully we'll take some nice shots of it.
See if we can get one that shows it nicely. That shows a bit of it there from the blimp cam as you head around NASCAR 1 and 2. I've been asking everybody the same question, a different version of the same question, I guess. Is there a track that you specifically have locked down, circled up, ready to go for your best opportunity at a race win this season?
Yeah, you know, I've won Petite at Road Atlanta. I've won the charity race at Road Atlanta, so I would normally say Road Atlanta, but there seems to be a rumor that there might be some 3D curbs coming to some tracks, and if they come to Road Atlanta, that track is going to change quite a bit. So I'll go with Stacy and say Road America, and the endurance really has me interested. I think that plays into my strengths. I'm pretty good at Road America, so yeah, we'll see.
I would love to see the 3D curbing at Road Atlanta. I think it's going to be Mugello only.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I have to go back and read the forum posts again, but I think it's Mugello only. Regardless, it's a big deal for iRacing to get those new curbing, I guess, stretches along some of these tracks. And John, good to see you once again. Best of luck. Missed that car on the inside. There you go. Got right around it. Slow car ahead. I'll spot for you from the broadcast.
Sounds good.
Ron Sedlak, car number 203, talking to us this evening. That about does it, I think, for drivers that were waiting to talk to us. The only other is going to be Thomas Rayleigh, who is out in the broadcast chat on YouTube. And Thomas, you're not in a car this evening. Sounds like you've got some work obligations. What is up with that?
What is up with that, man? It was a trip scheduled before the season schedule came out, but you know, I am happy to be sitting here in a nice comfy hotel room to watch the 10-minute chaos that's about to ensue on track.
Now, you don't have to endure Charlotte this evening for a 15-minute race, but you do have to go through the full schedule of 6 races, 5 single driver races, 1 enduro at the end. Is there a track that you have circled a race specifically, considering you got 15-minute races and then that 2-hour enduro at Road America? Is there a race you have circled for you guys to try and go get a win?
Really excited for Willow Springs because it's new. Really excited for the 2-hour enduro. But I've had good experience with Detroit before in the North American Racing League. We got a 1-2 last season in the Porsche Cup, and maybe we can replicate that again.
And how about car choice? Definitely a lot of Ferrari, a lot of Porsche. Is there one that you have on your mind? Have you tested, I guess, either one of those cars? Do you feel like the Audi might be the way to go once it releases?
I did some testing in the Ferrari. The Ferrari's obviously the easiest car to pick right now, but we'll be checking out the Audi. I mean, when the new BOP drops for the next season, you know, all bets are off. Anything could be good. So I'm excited to get out and drive all the cars again and try and pick what I want to drive for the season.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you're out of that hotel and back on the racetrack, Thomas. Good to talk to you this evening. We'll talk to you more this season for sure.
Thanks.
Thomas Rayleigh this evening joining us from his work hotel. That's a new one for us, but hey, let's grab one more driver before qualifying comes to a close. Jason Allen out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Do you have the ring of Formula One cars out of your ears yet?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy here a couple weeks ago down in the city of Sin, and yeah, but it was a good time for the city.
Absolutely, and a good time for us here at the North American Racing League. We've got GT3 cars back on track, including your number 71 and your team. It's got to feel good to be back, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels good to be driving a little bit, taking some time off, and what a field you guys got here, all within 3/10 for the top 10 position. So thanks for you guys for putting it on, NARL, for a good season, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Definitely a lot of good times on the way. There's been one consistent question that I've asked everybody so far this evening. Is there a track that you have circled? Road America, Road Atlanta, Willow Springs, Daytona, Detroit, Watkins Glen. Is there a track that you feel like you have the best chance at to go get a win?
My probably best track is Watkins Glen, and then we got that last one of the year circled. So hopefully we can stay clean till that last one of the year, and then put our chips on the table and see what happens.
Well, Jason, it's been a while. Good to talk to you once again. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot more this season. Qualifying coming to a close. Best of luck here, starting from 7th in our 15-minute race.
Thanks, bud. You guys have a great time, and shout out to all my folks at SCR.
Absolutely. Good to talk to Jason again. He'll be rolling off 7th place as we have a race fast approaching. There we go. We do expect a race length of 12 laps in 15 minutes. We'll see if that holds true. No pit stops for these guys. Don't have to worry about any of that. Just go out there, put the pedal to the metal, as they say, and go as fast as you can. Try to get to the finish line first. We, of course, have our 2 classes. Let's take a look at our Whiplash SimCam's race details. Just saw the 1 hour open qualifying just come to a close moments ago. We've got a 15-minute sprint race, the full iRacing GT3 category, although it really just looks like Ferrari 296s, Porsche 911s, and a BMW here, a Mercedes AMG there. I don't think any others are in the field. I didn't see any Lamborghinis. I didn't see any McLarens. I didn't see any. I saw 1 Audi, maybe 2, and no Fords. So, full of an asterisk, we'll say, iRacing GT3 category. And of course, this is just a media day warm-up, no points on the line. That said, let's run through your starting grid for the 0th race, if you will, of the season. On pole, Milan Harris, car number 95. Miguel Colon rolls off from 2nd. Good to see Miguel way up the board this evening in qualifying. Aubrey Kundal rolls off from 3rd. Ryan Kerr from the 4th place. Starting from the 5th position, how about Eric Leroy? We spoke with him briefly earlier on. John Kroom will join us on the grid from the 6th position. And we were just talking to the guys starting from 7th. Invert his number. You've got Scott Kimbrough starting from 8th position. 9th and 10th, Scott Reister, Blake Scott, longtime drivers. One of them is the league owner here on this 5th row. While I catch my breath, we'll let the rest of the field go on by on the bottom of your screen. Look for your favorite driver. Of course, the Division 2 pole sitter is a little ways back. It looks like that'll be Ilya Speaker down in position 17, but here you see Brent Cook and Lucas Souza. Next up, you'll see Mike Braun, Andy Miller, and a bunch of your other favorites around the field as they roll off from the starting grid. Let's take a look also up top of the screen at weather conditions. 74.6 degrees in the air, 77 on track. It's staying pretty consistent, but cooling down a little bit. And of course, the shadows tell us we're in the afternoon, rolling into evening. It won't be at nighttime. This will be a very brief race, but we are at least starting to cool down just a little bit, it looks like, out in the sim. Everybody rolling off of the grid. You see all 48 cars leaving their grid positions. We're only through half of them on the grid graphic, but continue to watch for your favorite driver. There you see Love 46 from position 25. Sonny Brown, longtime driver, starting from 26th position. 27th to 28th, Aaron Beaver and Bjorn Stange. And to round out your top 30, how about Charles Hosea from Rockefeller Racing and Billy Bowerman there in car number 2. 31st, 32nd, you'll find Joe Nagy, Scott Angelo. And the field just keeps on rolling. Stacy Bertrand there from the 33rd spot. Otto Rosa from the 34th position as they all go on by. Thanks for joining us for another season of racing in the North American Racing League. It has been all too long, and there are so many of you here to support us. Once again, it means so much to all of us here, not just in the broadcast room, but also at the league. To have all of you watching, all of you drivers supporting the series, it means a ton. A big thank you, of course, to IRS, Infinite Racing Services. Thanks for being here this season, doing all that you do for the North American Racing League. We would not be able to do these sorts of things without you guys supporting this series and making things happen. Victorium, same deal there. The new scoring partner, the official scoring partner of the North American Racing League, and of course, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, the longest standing partner of the series. A big shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV. Of course, Whiplash Media SimCam's longtime partner alongside ATVO and CC's Business. We have got less than half of a NASCAR lap left to go before we go racing for the 0th time. I'm going to keep using that, 0th time this season. Oh wow, we had a server drop apparently that has dropped a few drivers, one of them being Scott Reister. Looks like he may not be able to take the green. We'll see. I don't think the green will be delayed. It is interesting. Regardless, we have got cars on racetrack, somewhere around 47, 48. Who knows how many come to the green flag, ready to go racing. Decent track temps, a really cool racetrack, and we're about to get it all started on the Charlotte Roval. It's a non-points race, just 15 minutes in length, and we are green at America's home for racing. Already a crash in the back, a couple of cars in trouble there through turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Love 46 has somehow ended up on the other side of the racetrack. Technically is the race leader by scoring, but will of course have a hefty penalty. I'm not sure how she ended up there, but regardless, everybody continues on. Miguel Colon, Aubrey Kundle, your top runners, and Milan Harris just came back. Maybe some server issues here on lap 1. I don't know how Love 46 got around the racetrack like that. Clearly some damage. She has found some trouble. We've got a couple of Ferraris out front drafting onto the backstretch of the NASCAR oval and hard into the brakes for the backstretch chicane. That was close. Was that Aubrey Kundle up the inside? No, that was Ryan Kerr actually on Aubrey Kundle. That was the purple Radness Porsche making a deep dive into the bus stop. Backed out, no contact. Eric Leroy will look on. One lap complete. We'll let the field go by on your scoring graphic before we go back and take a look at what happened lap 1. Milan Harris will be your official race leader. Miguel Colon second. Down in Division 2, the way it's worked out is Ricardo Delgado has got the class lead as a bunch of drivers now come to the pit lane, it looks like. Billy Bowerman actually slow on the front stretch. I think missed the chicane. Stacy Bertrand is slow. Chaos on the opening couple of laps. Only an 11-lap race now is what's expected by timing and scoring. This is going to be short. Let's take a look, though, at what happened lap 1, turn 1. Specifically for Love 46, how did she end up... Oh, did she end up there? Hang on. This is... Wow, I think she might have had an issue on the grid. She's well back there. Gotcha. So she's... Wow, we've got all kinds of issues happening. Well, we'll just let things play out then. We're having some interesting... I've been seeing cars drop out on timing and scoring. Hopefully it's not a larger issue. Regardless, 12 minutes to go, and this is your front of your field. Miguel Colon Still on Milan Harris, rather. That's your top two. Aubrey Kundle third, Ryan Kerr fourth, and Leroy in fifth, Kroom in sixth, Jason Allen further back. And your best battle, it looks like, might be Ilya Speaker and Jake Luther back here in the mid-teens positions. Ilya Speaker second to Division 2 currently on Jake Luther, who is 13th overall. And as they pour around onto the NASCAR oval, this is really interesting. Yeah, Thomas talking about the connection issues. We've definitely had some big ones, but we're down to 43 cars already. But you know what? That's the point of a dress rehearsal. Weber Tamara is making a pass there on Michael Pusick in the purple Mercedes. Other battle back here, Aaron Beaver and Robert Guadagnoli. And I actually helped Robert get his paint scheme set up officially with the decals. The only thing he's got to do now is go into the iRacing paint shop, and there's a lot of you Ferrari drivers that'll have to do it. Go into your iRacing paint shop in the beta UI and uncheck the default Ferrari paint scheme. Go to one of the iRacing paint schemes, and that will fix your number location and your spec paints. I guess your spec map. There we go. Of your paint scheme, and will fix the matte and glossy metallic issues that you're seeing on your cars. A lot of you Ferrari drivers have to do it. I think Eric Leroy will have to, if I recall from that interview. A bunch of you guys will have to do it, and sure enough, everybody just dropped off. So I can see my streaming machine. I am doing okay. I'm not dropping bitrate in the stream, but it just dropped us from the race. And now maybe there's, well, I have not dropped frames in the last few minutes, but we just dropped out of the race. That is a new one for me. Well, what we can do is flip back over to B-roll for a moment, and I will save that replay. Good little footage for us, and we're going to have a fourth wall moment. It's rare that you have this kind of issue anymore on iRacing. It used to be very, very common for endurance races, but we haven't had this problem in a while. Regardless, while we wait, how about Scott Reister, of course, straight from the series, ready to talk to us. And Scott, it seems like some server issues grabbing us here in our media day warm-up. And you know what? This is what dress rehearsals are for. Although, not anything on the league or any of the drivers. Seems like iRacing is just dealing us a bad hand. But how are you doing tonight?
Good. Other than getting dropped out with everyone else, that's crazy. iRacing playing tricks on us today.
Definitely one of the more odd issues to look over and see my bitrate not move and to watch the sim drop out. But hey, we've got ourselves a really big season of racing coming up. It's the shortest by number of races, but I think one of the biggest as far as what we're packing this season. Only 2 classes on track, but we're packing everybody into one race, of course. And we're going racing for 50 minutes for 5 races, but then that endurance race is, of course, the kicker on the back end. Race number 6, something we've not done before in terms of points racing, and that's going to be adding a big, big element for not just the drivers, but you guys as a series.
Yes, we're kind of experimenting with that because our next plan is to do some endurance races. So we're going to see how that goes. My thoughts are longer endurances on 2-man teams in the future. So I wanted to leave that last race as kind of like a challenge for the series.
And how big of an undertaking is that? Of course, I know the switch up already is a big deal for you guys. Each season is a big deal. A lot of work goes in, but how much does that increase, I guess, the preparation that you guys have to go through? Of course, you, John, and everybody else behind.
This season was a little easier because we're not adding the super pros in there. We're just racing one race. That kind of like when we started racing with you guys. So it makes it a little easier managing one race. And then we'll do some races with the high I rating guys in the future. But I think it's going to be a good series. Everyone looks really close on times, so it'll be really competitive.
Of course, a lot of new cars hitting the sim recently. GT3, it seems, is back in focus for iRacing. That is evidenced by, I think, 3/4 of the field being in the Ferrari 296 this evening, another large portion being in the Porsche 911, and then a few stragglers in a BMW here, 2 Mercedes there, an Audi there. But we have the new Audi on the way. Do you feel like that's going to mix things up, throw a third new car into the mix that might just have a leg up on the others?
Every time they come out with a new car, it's been competitive. It's not going to be slow by any means. So we'll see. And other cars might be faster too after the update, before the first race, it seems. So we'll have to do a lot of testing to see which one's going to fit Road Atlanta the best.
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned Road Atlanta, the opening round for us this season, but is there a round that you have circled as a driver in this series as your best opportunity to go get a win?
I don't have any of these tracks as my favorite. I'm competitive on all of them, basically. I've never driven Willow Springs, but I'm competitive on all of them, but none of these tracks are like where I'm going to be dominant. I'll be up there with the front guys, battling it out, though.
Well, Scott, good to talk to you. We didn't have the graphic, unfortunately. We actually just got back into the sim. We are still having some connection issues, but we'll bear through it for these last 5 minutes. Scott, good to have you back. Of course, good to have the series back on the channel. I'm looking forward to this season.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Very competitive.
Scott Reister from the North American Racing League talking to us for a few moments. Miguel Colon is your race leader. Milan Harris nowhere to be found, and I can only imagine that maybe he was dropped out from the server as well. And yeah, it looks like we have crashed iRacing or something this evening. But Milan Harris out of the race. Miguel Colon, your new race leader. Aubrey Kundle, still second place, or I guess now second place. Ryan Kerr in the third position. Paint schemes may not load for a minute, guys. You see Trading Paints actually is open as I speak. But because of the session dropping, they may not reload fully back through the field. We'll see what happens. We're playing ball with something we haven't played ball with in a while. Some server connectivity issues, but we keep on going. That is the point of a dress rehearsal, so we're okay with it. We'll let it happen as long as we're good to go here in a couple of weeks. Ricardo Delgado, the Division 2 leader. This is somebody to keep your eye on. If he's already got speed in this sprint race, he's going to be someone to watch. Really cool paint scheme on this number 31 for Ricardo, and we've been showing this camera a lot this evening for good reason. This is the new driver's eye camera that we debuted on stock cars earlier this year. It has become a favorite, not just for the production trailer, but I think also for viewers and drivers to go back and look at right in the helmet, basically. A really cool driver's eye perspective of what these guys are doing behind the wheel. You still don't get all of the data on the dash, but you see a whole lot of what's going on. And with the hand animations now for gear shifts, this really adds the immersion factor. Meanwhile, as far as the race, second place in Division 2, Ilya Speaker, also a driver to watch for out of Rockefeller Racing. I think we're going to have some really good class battles between these Division 2 drivers as they make their way into the back end of your Division 1 guys. Here's Austin Tiller. Scott talking in the YouTube chat, which if you're not looking at, you should be as well. Maybe you should be looking at this fight. This is Otto Rosa up the inside of Charles Hosea in a turn number 1. Those two Ferraris figure it out, but they've got, whoa, Joe Nagy looking up the inside of turn 2. Looks like Mike Braun is in trouble. He's just taken a toe to the pit lane. Problems for car 107. The field keeps moving. If it wasn't so close to the end of the race, we'd take a look at the replay. But for now, Charles Hosea right on the back end here of Otto Rosa. These guys very close through the redneck roller coaster. They spill back onto the NASCAR Speedway. Further back, some battles throughout the field between guys like, let's see, Robert Snar. This is a new name for me. Looks like definitely an iRacing default paint scheme. Must be one of our newer drivers. Good to see Robert then in the field. Missing turn 6 though. We'll have to work on that. Thankfully though, turn 6 at Charlotte, not on the schedule as far as points paying events. He was following Glenn Dryden, who has no nose on that Ferrari. That must not have felt very good. Dean Kerr back with us this season. He's in car number 84, following closely behind Nicholas Sykes. These two Ferraris doing some battle back here in 26th and 27th. Meanwhile, Otto Rosa, Joe Nagy, they are oh so close. Charles Hosea got back by the number 98 Ferrari recently to take over 18th once again. And Austin Tiller is bringing the fight now to Nick Mercer. So a lot of new names that we've got to learn throughout the field. These are a couple of them. Time coming to a close. We got some good battles up front now shaping up. Eric Leroy, John Kroom, 4th and 5th positions. Leroy defending, Kroom attacking. This is your white flag now. Brought to you by Whiplash SimCam. Just ahead of these guys, Aubrey Kundle and Ryan Kerr. A couple of Porsches fighting it out. Not what I would have expected when I saw the sign-up sheet with all Ferraris across the board. But these two Porsches, 2nd and 3rd. Where can Ryan Kerr maybe find a way to go by our resident Australian in the series, since Matt Dench is not back this season, former champion? Oh, so close there at turn 7, the ending of the redneck roller coaster. These guys, they're a little too far back of Miguel Colon, who I think is going to go down today as your race winner, but 2nd and 3rd up for grabs. Aubrey Kundle trying to defend, goes driver left, now driver right, big swerve there, and a move from Kerr into the bus stop. Not going to happen that time. Aubrey Kundle defends brilliantly, but there's still a big door opening up for the final chicane on the lap. Kerr going to keep it on the banking. Kundle moves up a little bit. Meanwhile, Miguel Colon is going to come around and take the checkered flag, but this fight has our attention. Kerr up the inside. Oh, some contact there. Checkered flag for Colon. And 2nd place goes to Kundle. 3rd to Leroy at the buzzer. Maybe, yes. Eric Leroy, 3rd place on the podium this evening. Ryan Kerr has to settle for 4th. John Kroom almost took advantage. He finishes 5th. Everybody else comes across the line. Ricardo Delgado will take the race win in Division 2. Wow. Our quick little 15-minute race might have to be replicated. That was fun, although without the connection issues. That said, what a finish. I know it was a bit of a slow start with the connection problems, but how about that way to finish it off? Meanwhile, here's a fight. Nicholas Sykes, Dean Kerr, still on top of each other. Dean has an opportunity here into the final chicane. We've seen big moments happen here in NASCAR races. Is Dean close enough? I don't think so, and no, he will stay back and follow Nicholas through the back end of the chicane and finish 26th and 27th. Robert Snar there, not able to get to Glenn Dryden, and that will be checkered flag for everybody but Timothy Patterson. Back here in the number 96 Porsche, he comes across and finishes the race officially. Miguel Colon, race winner. When it's all said and done, car number 87 has got it down apparently. I think Milan Harris might have put up a bit of a fight if the race had gone with no connection issues. But cool to see Miguel Colon go out there and get himself a race win to get things started. We'll take a look at your unofficial race results. Miguel, of course, with the win. Aubrey Kundle, 2nd place. Eric Leroy, 3rd. Then Ryan Kerr, John Kroom, your top 5. What a finish that was for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and even 5th. We'll throw John in there. Those 4 positions wide open on the last lap. Kundle defends. Ryan Kerr just couldn't quite make that pass happen. Ricardo Delgado with the win in Division 2. Gonna have to watch out for car number 31, assuming he isn't moved up before the season even starts. Brent Cook rounds out your top 10. Here's 11 through 20. How about John Sedlak coming through the field? He finishes 12th. Ilya Speaker 11th. Jake Luther, we spoke with him earlier. He goes 13th. Nick Mercer there in the 14th spot. At least, maybe we didn't talk to Jake Luther. I thought we did. I know he was in the Discord for a while. I know he was on the list. Honestly, we talked to so many drivers earlier, I don't recall anymore. But Nick Mercer, Austin Tiller, Sonny Brown, Bjorn Stange back in the field, Charles Hosea. A look there at the rest of your top 20, then 21st through 30th. As we await everybody to join the Discord channel, it looks like we've got our race winner from Division 2. We're just waiting on Miguel Colon. Further back, you find drivers who unfortunately just got dropped out of the session. Guys like Scott Kimbrough, Kleber Tavares, Will Coffey, Milan Harris, Blake Scott. We feel your pain. With the racing done on the racetrack, let's go take a look back at what just went on through some driver interviews. That is, if Miguel joins us. Yes, there we go. Miguel Colon joining us in the broadcast booth. And Miguel, that has to feel like a pretty big win. First race for these guys. It's not for points. This is media day, just kind of a warm-up, but you assert yourself as the driver to beat right out the gate. That has to feel good.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we had an awesome pace. I feel bad for Milan. I think he had also a good car. I think his network dropped. But I think we were going to be battling over there for the end. I was just following him, not pushing too hard, just see if he made a mistake and then try to put pressures on him. But, you know, at the end, you know, this is a good start for this season. We're looking forward to see if we can finish in a good standing for this season. So awesome. I appreciate that today.
And clearly the Ferrari is the car of choice. Do you have your eyes on the Audi at all, or is it full go for the Ferrari? It seems like it's the best car. Stick with it all season.
So I don't know. I think it will depend on what type of track we're going to be racing, which car it will be more equivalent. I feel like this track in the Ferrari, I feel like the car was like on a steroid, basically. I tried the Porsche, tried the Lambo, but, you know, I think the gear radio for the Ferrari is like low torque and the low end speed. It was, you know, superior than the other ones here, which make it a little more easier to drive. But, you know, I think it's one of those things, depending on the track, there is going to be other cars that will be better.
And Miguel, clearly you're good out of the bat here right away to get the season started, but is there a track that you feel like is going to best suit you in these 6 points paying races to get a race win? Is there one that you have circled?
Not so far. I think I'm gonna take one race at a time. You know, it's gonna be a nice season. I know that with the OR rating adjustment, you guys saw it today in the open qualifier. Like everybody was neck to neck for every single position. So I think every millisecond will matter in this year's championship to be able to surpass somebody else. So I think it's gonna be a tight and good championship this year.
Well, Miguel, congratulations right out of the gate, getting a race win in pretty dominating fashion as well. Of course, Milan would have put up, I think, more of a fight, but otherwise, circumstances aside, you did a pretty darn good job. Congratulations.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the stream. And also, shout out to our team, Sim Racing PR, which also Ricardo, I think he's finished first in Division 2. So it was a good start for our team this season. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely, a big start for sure, as Ricardo Delgado does take the Division 2 race win, and we're here to talk to him as well. Ricardo, 9th place overall, but that means you have one Division 2 for the day, and of course, no points for today, but it's a really good start to get things going. Not only are you in the overall top 10 as a lower division driver, but you get the race win in class. That's got to feel pretty darn good.
Yeah, it was a good. Being an open quality, you can take advantage of drafting and all that stuff. Plus, at the start of the race, a lot of people drop it on the side that was starting the starting lane that I had. So, even though I qualified, I think 3rd on my class, at the start of the race, I was already first because of all those people that drop it on my lane.
Car choice and track, I guess, favorites have been the conversation all broadcast long. Is there a car that you have in mind particularly? Is it the Ferrari all season, or are you going to bounce around a little bit? Is it a per track basis?
I mean, usually the car that I drive is a Ferrari, so maybe that's what parts of my accomplishment today because that's the car that I usually drive. So I'm a little bit more used to it than those people that are jumping from car to car.
Clearly, you've got some pretty good pace up in the overall top 10. Is there a race that you have circled that you feel like you have the best chance at?
No, I'm not gonna take it one race at a time. I mean, those races that you think you're gonna nail it is those races that you hopefully have some issues, traffic, crash. So one at a time.
There you go, Ricardo Delgado, 9th place overall, but your Division 2 race winner by a couple of spots over Ilya Speaker. Ricardo, congratulations. Hopefully we're talking to you more this season.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Now, Eric Leroy usually would not get a broadcast interview here at the end of the race. It would usually be, and still would be, the top 2 from each class. We don't see Aubrey Kundle, though, yet in the Discord. So let's go ahead and grab Eric Leroy once again. We spoke to him a little bit earlier through our qualifying session. And Eric, a lot of pace there when we got racing. You were able to hold off a couple of advances from John Kroom and others, and you just got Ryan Kerr there at the end for a podium. How was the race from your perspective? He still has the mic muted in Discord. I'm not sure if he knows that.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I do. Hey, thank you. Yeah, the race felt surprisingly good. I thought the front tire was getting pretty cooked, and I didn't know how long I was going to be able to maintain a relatively decent pace. It looks like, unfortunately, one of the top guys dropped out due to Wi-Fi or technical issues, so that was unfortunate for him. Yeah, I was happy with my qualifying time. I had definitely, I forgot the name of the person behind me, but they were putting up a very, very good fight. They were much faster than me in certain parts of the track, and I was just able to maintain it. If there was a few more laps, they probably would have got me. And then I got very lucky there at the end to pick up third, so I'll take it. Racing's racing.
And of course, this has to feel like a pretty good start for you and your team as a whole. As we get ready to go racing, it's a very unofficial index of where everybody's at, but it's your best indication, right? Going into the opening round at Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks, it's your best idea of where you match up, and clearly you match up pretty well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. The competition looks really good. The top guys look really, really fast, and especially in race pace. So I definitely have some studying to do to see where I'm losing time. But very, very also happy to be where I am with the pace that I have. So going to continue working on it.
Well, Eric, congratulations. Third place is a really good start to things, and so hopefully we're talking to you, like I said earlier, a whole lot more this season.
I hope so too. Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Eric Leroy, already the most broadcaster, I guess the most interviewed driver of the season, speaking to us twice in one night. Good to speak to him here after a third place effort when it was all said and done. And it was that last moment across the line as well between he and Ryan Kerr. Let's see if we can get a look back at that actually right quick. That's still a slow-mo. Let's go back a little bit further. Here we go. That move from Ryan Kerr looking for a final position. Racing here, of course, with Aubrey Kundle. This is down to the final chicane. He looks left, he looks right. A little bit of contact there at the apex, and sliding through the grass. Here comes Eric Leroy. Just nabs third place, and John Kroom couldn't quite get it at that last moment. But what a finish between these guys. Let's going to look back at it from Ryan Kerr's perspective. Inside the helmet. Final braking zone, sends it up the inside. Oh, contact, save it. Power down. Just not quite good enough. And then from Aubrey Kundle's perspective, this is inside the car for now, but then you see Ryan trying to go left, trying to go right. I guess it was right then left. That's through the backstretch chicane. Real close to the wall there on exit. Ryan's trying to find a way by. This is on the banking. Aubrey moves up a little bit to kind of block the air. And then, into this final corner, wait for it up the inside. A little bit of contact there. They get it sorted out. And Aubrey comes through second place, even with that wall contact. That's all she wrote those drivers up front. Really good racing throughout the field. I know it was kind of spoiled a little bit for some drivers by the connection issues throughout the field, but drivers, props for the racing we did see. It was really, really good stuff out there and has us optimistic going into the rest of the season. Media Day tonight at Charlotte, that is done and dusted. Don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just points racing from here on out. Road Atlanta, the first opportunity for these guys to earn points on December 14th. A couple of weeks until then. Enjoy the time, especially as we head into holiday season, but also enjoy the time to continue prepping, guys. And of course, the Audi GT3 Evo will be dropping next week. That, I think, is going to be a game changer. In fact, I think that's dropping Tuesday, which is only, 4 or 5 days away, which means we have more time to prep with the Audi than without between this evening and our first race of the season. Then we're out of the street circuit of Detroit before the Christmas and New Year's break. It's Watkins Glen Daytona for a couple of weeks, and we take a week off for iRacing 24 at Daytona preparations. Then it's out to Willow Springs in California for January 25th. And finally, February 3rd, a Saturday, for our endurance race at Road America. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll take a look at what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV before we shut things off for the night. Next up, we take legend cars out to the LA Memorial Coliseum for the Icon Off-Season Mixed Mini-Series Sunday. And Monday, we still have this slotted in at Monday. This is a very fluid situation. To be perfectly candid, I was in a car crash on Monday this past week and interfered with our broadcast plans for the SimLab Production Car Challenge. Now, we're all okay. I'm okay, at least. I was in the car. But we don't exactly know when that broadcast is going to happen yet. It's right now slated actually not for 9:30, but for 7:30 Eastern. I think that's going to move. Fiance allowing, and making sure she's not behind me here, fiance allowing. She may be watching the living room, but we're looking, the drivers want that to be Sunday afternoon to get the most drivers in that race as possible. We'll see how that ends up working, but we're going to be picking an official time slot and broadcasting that last week of racing. Regardless, that's what we have upcoming. The next two broadcasts will be Legends at the Coliseum and Production Car Challenge Orion Park. Maybe not in that order, we'll see. But then Tuesday evening, it's out to Iowa Speedway for LMS Street Stocks, Lucky Motorsports Solutions Street Stocks, brought to you by Elevated Performance. 2 weeks until we go racing officially here this season for points. Make sure to join us in a couple of weeks, December 14th. Do not miss the start of the season. It is going to be a whole lot of fun, but thanks for joining us to get things started with Media Day for the first time ever for the North American Racing League. I think it was a nice little success despite connection issues stealing the name of the show. Congratulations to our class winners, Miguel Colon and Ricardo Delgado. A big thank you to our partners here with the North American Racing League, Infinite Racing Solutions, Infinite Racing I believe InfiniteRacingS.com is their website. Take a look at it. Victorum, of course, the scoring partner of the series, and Screw Compressor Service, long-standing partner. And our partners here at the channel as well, with Whiplash Media SimCams, ATVO, and CC's Business getting it done for us behind the scenes, as well as these groups on the bottom of your screen. That'll do it for us this evening from Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. Make sure to join us in 2 weeks. We'll have more GT3 racing action, this time from Road Atlanta for round number 1 of the series. We'll see you there.